XP, Terizla's open,
Oh,
and
it's a high loss. Alright.
How crazy is that, Rockhard? That at this point in the metagame, high loss used to show up first, and then I was just like, yeah, whatever, let's close up the draft with it. Like,
Yeah.
last
We're
pick
here to
high.
bring you the action. It's game number
Welcome
one in
to
the first
Mobile
series of our
Legends.
triple header. And you know what?
What?
I gotta agree, man. I gotta agree with our panel there. I love the way the meta has shifted. I would have never thought we'd be knee-deep into the season, nearly towards the end, and Ganacontra gets picked up. First pick, Hylos is last.
Yeah, you know, just yesterday alone, we have recorded 76
Sheesh.
unique heroes used. Because of that, I forgot which pick was that, but it was 76 yesterday. And again, I just like to clarify, I'm Jose number 1, Jose number 1, Nisu's number 2.
I'll have to correct you on that because I was born before you, so,
Okay, fine.
you know, at that point,
Seniority.
math checks out, right? Okay. So going in the matchup here and the roles specifically with this whole thing, the fact is, yes, Benny Cutie happens to be, is he the only one that plays the 1-1 right now?
I think so. 2 times already been picked up.
Oh.
Here comes
Whoa.
TNC drawing the first blood onto JP. What an aggressive start coming in from SDZYZ. So, okay, TNC right now has good momentum despite them not winning any series yet.
Yeah.
4 out of their last series have been game 3s. They've extended it to 3 games. So it's not impossible. It's highly probable that this series would likely reach game number 3.
Well, hopefully it can, because again, what really needs to be looked at here is for TNC, you know, if they can get to a point where they get a victory against a team like TLPH, who, mind you, last season's champions. Yes, they've kind of had their own struggles this season alone, but TNC can go ahead and close out the season with their last games here, really just on a high note, hopefully,
Yeah.
and for TLPH, again, it's the same thing where you have these teams all fighting for those spots within the bracketing of the playoffs. Like, again, they're already secure for the playoffs, so it's all coming down to, those teams fighting for the best opportunity when it comes to the playoffs here. Right now, though, Turtle's going to be up first one of the game, and TLPH looks like they might just go for it.
Okay, this is what the panel was saying, that the really aggressive junglers will go for the turtle early on as SDZYZ steals that away from TLPH. And going back to your point, Nice, okay, given the situation for both of these teams,
Yeah.
TNC being their last game and for TLPH still eyeing for that second upper bracket spot, who do you think has more pressure right now? Is it TLPH or TNC? For me, it's TLPH.
TLPH for sure. I mean, TNC can more so just be on the whims of, yeah, we don't have anything to lose. Let's just go ahead and play our best without any of that pressure, really. And I would almost think that even TLPH, SD, whoa,
Look at
Look at the damage.
SDZYZ! Man, the damage of the Hayabusa early on, 2-0. As Escalera commits already, the Earth Shatter Flicker combination might be able to get bursted down here, but Carl TZ, one more outplay, but Hatred stays alive as Heads brings him down.
wow, okay. And they're playing here too.
Okay, here comes the aggression of the Phoenix Army again with a Zaman Force plus a beautiful pickup once again from Escalera. And just like that, Escalera playing out of
Like
his
he's got
mind
nothing
right
to
now.
lose. He's got nothing to lose.
The no pressure Phoenix Army. This is the buff. This is what you want. Again, though, there's still certain pressure for TNC because just like what Innocent said, his message for his former team is that this is a huge game for them to have momentum coming into Season 15. So that's what TNC is looking forward to right now. A complete, restart early. It's good to restart towards the end of the season compared to the start of the season coming into Season 15.
The way I always look at it is, we're still quite a ways from Season 15, so there's still a lot of time and a lot of things can happen there. So really it's just, go out with a bang, get that win if you can. SD again.
Just look at SDZYZ. Really aggressive right now.
So Escalera, I mean, any of these guys too, they just play their best game and hope for the best here. Now really for the fight for the second turtle, they're starting it up.
Just look at Heads zoning out 4 members with a glorious pathway along with Escalera. SDZYZ, he doesn't have his ultimate though, but the AOG coming in from Sanford will be casted as they try to regroup and get this turtle away from the Phoenix Army. Here comes the Primal Wrath from Escalera working on Sanford, coming into stuns. Look at Carl TZ.
Wow.
What an enhanced chains, plus the crossbow of Tank coming in from Benny Cutie, shutting down Heads and Escalera.
And that's exactly why Leo mentioned, when you say Julian, A lot of people think of the GOAT, Carl TZ here. It is one of the heroes that he loves to play, and you just, every single time, you see the amount of damage the Julian can pop out, especially early on, because he also picks up the wings here. So objective and a whole lot taken there for TLPH, but TNC will still hold on to a little bit of lead that they have, and still, they can actually control this portion of the game. Now, that has been the story of TNC, and that's why I'm saying, you know, if you're looking at one of your last games for the regular season and you know you're not going to the playoffs, then just showcase your skills as they try to make a play down here.
Okay, Escalera trying to work on Sanford. Here comes the onward. This is Zaman Force coming in from Coast, and Sanford has to pop his AOG to escape, but look at Carl TZ goes in right after Escalera. He's not going to continue it, though, and a huge escape from Sanford.
Okay, they're able to disengage. Great Avatar of the Guardian out of there to stay alive, of course, from Sanford. And that's the thing. Like I was saying, TNC is known for this early game power, the way they like to build momentum and play off of it. It's always just going back to the fact is, you know, you get to this point, have you refined that version of the transition from early to mid to late? That's where I think all the fans of TNC really want to be able to witness, you know, that they have just this solid game as a whole, because they've obviously got the early game down. Oh, heads.
Here comes the hunt coming in from the cavalry, looking at the stuns, though, and it looks like Heads has to use the glorious pathway to walk away, but Benny Cutie catches him with one kill there, and just like that, they're trimming down the lead of TNC, but TNC, though, on the other hand, was able to take a turret up top.
Yeah, they got a push, at least up top. It looks like, you know, they're aiming here even in mid lane. They want to be able to claim this last turtle of the game, the third one here, as it's 1-for-1 for objectives. So, but with this lineup, like, we have seen this so often, Ingon, where, you know, even the Edith in the beginning of the regular season was such a hot pick just because of the fact that you can find so many setup potentials, you know, for the team, whether you had Flicker or not. But they're actually just forced off the turtle right now as they wait for SD to go ahead and grab his orange buff and get in position here.
Yeah, can I just commend Hatred? Hatred has been doing a phenomenal job with his Curse Blast, crowd control, always catching 3 from TLPH. And as TNC starts things off with the turtle, your Sanford trying to survey the scene. Taunts heads.
Oh,
here comes JP with a flicker and Divine Judgment, but they want to counter out AOG onto the back line. They're going to catch someone. Escalera has to walk away. Casts his Primal Wrath as well. JP and Carl TZ are low, but look at Benny Cutie with the crossbow attack onto Heads, and Kozin. Still no casualty yet except for Sanford, and this might be the opening TNC is looking for.
Sanford went deep. He went in with the Avatar of the Guardian, get caught off a little bit, but ultimately they're still taking this turtle.
Oh, look at this. Just Heads popping his Revitalize, unbothered by the damage. Here comes SDCYZ with a weaky Shadow Kill up against 3, and it's going to bring down Sanji. Happy birthday to you, and Kozin goes in with his Zaman Force to finish off Carl TZ as well. And this is the scariest version of TNC. Again, no pressure, dominating the early game up against the reigning champions of MPL. Man, if they continue this, they could win the series. Unfortunately, it's their last series.
Yeah, you know, the way you have to look at it, like I said, is just showcasing their skills at this point, even because we've seen so many versions of even TNC throughout the course of the season. And, you know, they talked a little bit about the panel, how, you know, you've seen a more aggressive TNC, you've seen a more calculated TNC, but nonetheless, I would say, and maybe you agree with this as well, is TNC in general, their play style has been pretty aggressive. Like, they are a team that likes to take those risks, and, you know, sometimes, more often than not, it ends up falling out of their hands towards the later portion of the game, and that's where we're getting. You know, we're getting to that point where the Lord's going to be up here in about a minute, and they have a healthy lead. They're getting these turrets down across the map. They've got now the 2 down. They should have space to work around with. And even the way they played against the previous JP setup with the Divine Judgment from the Kaja, as long as they're pushing and pulling correctly in terms of the team fight, then that's fine. But look at this Escalera too. Once again, a lot of the times with the conceal off of Heads.
Beautiful cast of the glorious pathway to cut off the exit plan of TLPH, but TNC though. Here comes the counter attack. AOG going to connect onto 3. Plus the glorious pathway coming in from Sanji. They're firing back onto Heads. Heads might fall down in the hands of Benny Cutie. Plus the crossbow attack onto Escalera though. Look at Benny Cutie, 1v1 onto Kozin, but Kozin gets a final blow to bring down Benny Cutie, handing him his first death. Now SDZYZ isn't done with the young goat. 1v1, here comes Hatred though, but a quad shadow out for SDZYZ. And TNC is going to pick up 3 kills.
Good pickups there from TNC, and perfect timing in leading into the first Lord. So now, once again, with a great lead that they have, they should be able to go ahead and convert some of this, possibly the objective as well as they make their way after the reset. But TLPH will do what they can. You know, Sanji's nearly up as well. They might just try to delay this. JP doesn't have the Divine Judgment or the Flicker just yet, but they're trying to get a position.
Okay, Heads goes in for the Glorious Pathway. Tries to zone. JP's going to get bursted down by SDCYC. A 6-0 to KDA for this Hayabusa as they get an uncontested Lord.
Yeah, SD at this point. I mean, how many times, man, have we seen a Hayabusa picked up and then just snowball out of control?
A lot of times. Too many to count.
Quite a few times, Escalera.
Oh, Escalera again with the onboard. Sanford, though, is going to evade that as they try to work on the mid lane turret. And TNC just really establishing a huge gold lead here, 5K. And looking at the items of SDCYZ, pure penetration. He has the Malefic Roar already. I believe he also has the Hunter Strike. Got to build up that Blade of Despair. And you're not going to wonder why the damage of SDCYZ is always enough. He might be even able to burst down JP here. He's not going to commit it, though.
He's not going to risk it. Even with the lead that he has and the snowball that he has, man, he's like, you know what? Not worth it yet. We still have the Lord making its way up top. Teams following through. You can see, you know, like you mentioned, he's got Hunter Strike. He had the Sea Halberd as well.
Malefic Roar,
He's got Malefic Roar. And he's that seems to be plenty already. So even when he picks up the next items, he's going to do a lot more. Now, TLPH, if they're able to shut TNC down, even if it's just SD, then that's going to be a lot of gold in the right hands here.
Okay, we might see another 1v1 jungle action down bottom as Carl TC tries to delay the minions onto the bottom lane. Okay, here comes SDCYZ. Okay, they're going to sandwich Carl TZ. Escalera still has his onward shatter, but manages to escape. Catches Carl TZ once again, paired up with a Glorious Pathway coming in from Heads as they bring down the Young Goat, and all the holy shields of TLPH will be popped. Look at the Wiki Shadow Kill coming in from SDZYZ, forcing Sanji to use a Primal Wrath and the Revitalize from Sanford. And would you say that was a win for TNC with that push?
Yeah, I mean, they got the tier 2s down. They got the Holy Shields as well. They haven't gotten any base turrets just yet, but they still could push in. Escalera can seal again.
No, at this point, even if JP manages to pull someone there, but a beautiful taunt coming in from Sanford. Here comes the counter attack once again, forcing out Heads with the Glorious Pathway. They tried to go for an inhibitor. Oh, wait, the counter attack of the Cavalry. Sets their eyes on Kozin, but flickers out as well. 2 flickers have been expended. That was an initiation wasted. Here comes the AOG counter, though, coming in from Sanford. Benacuti managing to free hit every single member of TNC as they shut down Kozin in exchange for Sanford. Benacuti casts the crossbow of Tang, but a Winter Crown play coming in from Hess plus the Revitalize. He still will fall down, though. A 3-4-2 trade, and as SDZYZ goes in with the Awigi Shadow Kill. Might be too deep, but Sanji still remains alive.
I'm surprised Sanji was able to survive that. I was looking to see if he'd get taken off, and that's the thing. SD, like we said, he's got the items, he's got the damage, but given the whole fact that TLPH is actually down 6,000 gold, I'm surprised they had that good of a fight against TNC. And, you know, part of it, too, I know we're going to take a look here at the replay brought to us by Infinix. Look at this. AOG in, gets a taunt off of the Unbreakable. SD still there. Carl TZ goes in the backside, gets a couple shots off. But the whole time, too, Sanji and Benacuti, for the most part, are fine. The Winner's Crown also mitigated some of that damage from the crossbow of Tang, but now the fight for the Lord.
Okay, here comes the catch onto Sanford. They're going to try to burst him down, but it looks like Sanford is going to fall down. Actually, for Escalera, again, Benacuti with a crossbow attack onto Heads. SDZYZ, though, onto JP as they try to walk away with a conceal. Carl TZ manages to escape. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade again. TNC wins that clash.
Oh, man, they are winning these fights, but they're still kind of not sure if they want to take the Lord. They want to put pressure on the team fight even further. Even though there's 2 members down to TLPH, TNC still won't pull the go yet. They still have to respect the fact that even with this lineup, TLPH could get a potential pickoff. And if Benacuti has a good crossbow of Tang that isn't stopped or, you know, mitigated with a Winner's Crown or what have you, then a fight could turn, but they're going to go for this Lord here.
Okay, 2 junglers are active here as Sanji also is going to enter the scene. It's going to be a 5-on-5 for the second Lord. Okay, JP needs to get a good catch here to activate Benacuti's crossbow of Tang and set up a play for TLPH.
That's what they got to do, but it's going to go for a reset for now. Like I said, TNC will go ahead and play this in a more passive way. Again, even if you have a lead, you still have to look at what's across from you, what defensives are there, what items do they have. We know some Winter Crowns and Immortalities were also picked up in exchange, and even more, some of the defensive items here. As hard as it's been to get to SDZYZ, if he just picks someone off, and he just picks up a Blade of Hepsies now too, so the pick-off potential and the damage that we've seen so far from this point is now even further towards that. Look at the damage dealt. Even looking at this before he had that Blade of Hepsies. Like, SD is that guy. He's the damage guy, so it's almost a double-edged sword, obviously, right? You don't want to get blasted either, because if SD's taken out of there, you'll lose a huge damage profile. Here's the conceal, though.
Okay, here comes the charge and the catch onto the Young Goat. They're going to bring that call easy once again. Escalera pops his Primal Wrath, but Sanji has his own as well. Sanford goes in for the thought onto Escalera. A counterattack might ensue here for TLPH as JP uses the conceal. They're going to try and get a pick off, but Hatred manages to stop that clash as Sanford goes in for the AOG onto the backline. Revitalize coming in from Heads. Benecutie managing to have stacks onto Heads, but still not popping the crossbow of Tang as they bring down Sanford. And this is finally the opening for TNC to get the Lord.
Hey, man, that's what we were talking about. Damage profile is insane if they get the catch. TNC does that. They get the objective off of that. And it looked like, you know, there was a little bit of fight from TLPH, but unfortunately, they didn't find those connections. I mean, even JP, when he flickered forward to get that pick off, who was he going to grab? Escalera or Heads? They were up on the front side. But then it forces an Avatar of the Guardian from Sanford, and then it kind of got to a point where Benecutie, TLPH's biggest damage at this point, couldn't pop off the way he wanted to with the crossbow of Tang.
Yeah, again, I'd like to commend what Hatred did, foiling the plan once again of JP. I believe he used the cursed blast. I know, not the cursed blast, the deathly grasp to stop JP from using the Divine Judgment. It did connect to Escalera, but he wasn't able to dash out and serve it up to Benecutie because of that deathly grasp. So huge play from TNC. And I do love to commend the whole team of the Phoenix Army, because this time it looks like they're really decisive with how they play. Escalera again goes in with a conceal, plus Heads coming in with a glorious pathway. The Lord marching in the middle lane as Kozin drops the inhibitor turret down bottom. It's going to be a huge defense needed coming in from TLPH.
Okay, right now they're still going to deal with the Lord, holding it together. Sanji going to use that Primal Wrath that he took as well from Escalera. So right now they're just going to clear the waves, hold on to what they can. They're going to lose all base turrets though. So TNC now making the choice. Do they want to push this one in? Do they want to force a fight?
Okay, they have minions coming, approaching onto the top lane. Sanji though, here comes Heads with a glorious pathway as well as Escalera. SDCYZ goes in. Primal Wrath coming in from Escalera. They might be able to bring down Sanford, but Sanford remains alive, and TLPH, although they lost all their inhibitor turrets, the game's still not over. All 5 members are still alive.
They're all still alive. TNC now. Hey, when I said it earlier in the game, man, I was like, you know, TNC's known for having that early game. They're controlling there. They've done a pretty good job from the mid to late now. And they're in a position, you know, almost at that 20-minute mark where it looks like they're going to wait for the next Lord to come up, right? Because I'm not sure if TLPH will even give them the opportunity to, you know, get a pick off or something. Now, we might see TLPH take a Hail Mary play, and a Hail Mary play with this lineup is literally JP. Like, it's all on JP.
Or Sanford. Literally a Hail Mary throw with AOG.
You know, Sanford could be the one, but it's so much better if you use the Avatar of the Guardian after the fact that there's already chaos breaking out. Because, I mean, we've all been there. You see a Gatot flying in, you're dodging out of it, you know?
It's easy to dodge. I do agree. It's easy to dodge out the AOG compared to a Flicker Divine Judgment that you can literally serve up to Benny to activate the crossbow of Tang. But again, the Winter Crowns will play a huge effect here for TNC. If ever it locks onto someone who has that Winter Crown, the damage output of TLPH will already be mitigated. But then again, you still can't credit the heart of a champion. And this team, with Web, Falcons, AP, Brandon, the Grand Finals last season, if someone can come back from this deficit, it could be TLPH.
Even down this much gold at this point. We already saw the preview of the items. Everybody pretty much locked in. A couple item swaps happening, but Immortalities on both sides. Wind of Nature's too, so this still can play out into a full team fight. Where given how things have gone, TLPH, you can't just assume they're going to lose a full-on fight. Now, again, Escalera can be the one to start things up. Heads has been the forefront a lot of the times for TNC, but at it all, TNC still has to respect how they approach the Lord fight. We've seen games flip on its head very quickly, right? Just even at this point, when you get to these later Lords, and even though you have your base turrets down, that's part of the fact where, yeah, we just got to manage these waves, make sure we're not getting pushed in too much. And hey, we've seen it from TLPH before, but there's the conceal. Gonna force JP out. They're gonna commit.
They're gonna commit also the glorious pathway, but again, a beautiful stun coming in from Carl TZ. Sanji goes in, casts his Primal Wrath, but here comes Hatred trying to zone out the members of TLPH. AOG gonna connect onto Core, but they're gonna bring down Carl TZ. Here comes the damage output of TLPH. Benny Cutie trying to work on heads with a Revitalize as Sanford falls down. Sanji as well. JP's immortality will be popped. He's gonna fall down eventually, and it's just Benny Cutie left against 5, and a wipeout for the Phoenix Army, and a maniac for Kozen.
They decided, you know what, let's just go for it, but that's going to be the game as TNC will take game number 1, and Kozen gets a maniac on the hair there. One last Hail Mary from TLPH won't be enough. Game 1, TNC.
I believe the second maniac, Kozen, earlier on he did have with a Melissa. I remember that full barrage setup, and this time with a Harris against TLPH.
Again,